Next we will be creating a mouth for Carter the cat. Up until now we've been working in rounds, going around and around. For the mouth we'll be working in rows instead of rounds, meaning we'll be turning our work over at the end of each row. We still start with a slip knot, as we always do. This time we're only going to chain 2, so that's 1, 2. We're then going to make 6 single crochets in the second chain from the hook. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Which brings us to the end of row 1. Now because we're turning, we need to chain 1. At this point we are actually going to turn our work over, and then we're going to start in the second stitch from the hook by making 6 increases. So that's 2 stitches in each stitch. That's increase number 1. Increase number 2, increase number 3, increase number 4, increase number 5, and in the last stitch, increase number 6. Okay, that one doesn't quite pull through. Let's just try it again. There we go. That's our 6 increases. Now again, instead of carrying on, we're going to chain 1, and we're going to turn our work, and we'll again start in the second stitch from the chain for row 3. Now in row 3 we're going to make 6 decreases. Normally we use the invisible decrease where we only go through the front loops, but because we're working in rows instead of rounds, we're going to go through both loops. So this decrease is a little bit different. You go through the first stitch, hook the yarn, pull it back, go through the second stitch, hook the yarn, pull it back, so that you've got 3 loops on your hook. You hook the yarn and you pull through all 3 loops. We're then going to repeat in stitch 3 and 4. Through the stitch, hook the yarn, pull back. Through the next stitch, hook the yarn, pull back. 3 loops on your hook. Hook the yarn, pull through all 3. We repeat it again with stitch 5 and stitch 6, and again with stitch 7 and stitch 8. This is your more traditional decrease. We're doing it again with stitch 9 and 10, and a last repetition with stitch 11 and stitch 12. We're then going to finish off with a slip stitch. We're going to need a medium length yarn tail because we're going to use our yarn tail to sew the mouth onto the head. It doesn't have to be extremely long. There we go. And as you can see, we've created a tiny little mouth where you've got a bit of a lip there if you look at it from this side, and if you look at it from the back, it doesn't have the lip, and we've got a little bit of a wedge open there. And that's the mouth for Carter the cat. It's now time to sew the mouth of Carter the cat onto the head. So you want to start off making sure that the lip side is facing you, and we're going to put it at the bottom of the muzzle like that. You can see we've got it pushed back all the way to touching the head, and we want to keep it nice and centered. So once you've got it in the right position, you take your 2 pins and you just pin the mouth into place where you would like to sew it on. Very important to make sure that you center it with this line of the nose. Now, I start by taking the short end from where we started making the mouth, and I'm just going to work it through to any stitch in the head. So I'm just going to go into the head and come out at any random spot, pull through just so that it's out of the way, and we'll use it later to tie off this end. I then put the longer end on my needle. I'm using the tapestry needle because for sewing we don't need the long needle. And we're just going to sew this on with invisible stitches. It's a bit of an awkward positioning, so it might be difficult for you to see what I'm actually doing. But the intention would be to catch it over here and then work along this line there until I get to that side and back again to this space. So I'm just going to do that off camera because you won't be able to see what I'm doing, and then I'll come back once I've done that. Okay, we've now sewn along that edge twice, so I just wanted to show you the finishing off part. You can see you can actually fit your finger in there. The last thing that I do for the muzzle and the mouth is I'm just going to make a stitch between the muzzle and the mouth itself to actually attach the two to each other. So I go through the muzzle and through the mouth like that. Just pull it through. And then I go back into the muzzle and I push my needle through to the other side of the muzzle. And I then catch the mouth on this side. And we're just going to work that into the muzzle as well. So catch it one more time. Make sure everything is nice and neat. Then check that you are happy with where you have sewn your mouth into position. If you are happy, you can work your yarn tail through the head to the spot that you started in. So we can come through there. Then we're just going to knot our yarn like we always do. We're going to snip it off short. Sorry, that's my husband coming home and the dog's giving him a very vigorous greeting. Dixie, calm down. Okay, there we go. Now our mouth is all finished, and as you can see, we've hidden the yarn tail before we were so rudely interrupted by my chihuahuas. They get a bit loud whenever somebody comes home, and that is what it should look like. You should still be able to insert your finger if you wish to, so you can have the mouth a little bit open if you want, or you can keep it pushed closed. It is up to you. This is what Carter the cat should look like at this stage.